A bat and a ball. I knew it.
There you go. That's our...
You caught it?
I woke up this morning and I forgot whether I was an atheist.
Oh, that's a problem.
You know, I didn't remember, and luckily, like, thank God, there was this online test that I took. It had 3 questions, and it reminded me that I was indeed an atheist.
Oh.
So the test is simple, and anyone can take it. It's quick, 3 questions only. You don't really need to bring out a notebook or a calculator for it. So anyway, here are the questions.
Wait, you can find the questions here after the show, but here they are anyway.
Yeah, okay. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. So let's contextualize. 1 peso and 10 centavos. That's a
What the
cheap
hell? No, you
bat
use
and
the actual
okay.
one.
It's still a cheap. I mean, even for the dollar price, that's
Yes.
still cheap. So
The
might as
kids
well
one,
use the
the kids
peso
one.
price, right?
Yeah. This is a
1
long
peso.
question.
1 peso, 10 centavo bat and ball combo at SM Mega Mall. Okay, the bat costs 1 peso more than the ball does. How much does the ball cost? Okay, that's the first question. And you can pause it anytime, work on the problems, go at your own pace, really simple. Second question, if it takes 5 machines 5 minutes to make 5 widgets, how long would it take 100 machines to make 100 widgets? So again, anyway, the question's on the screen. You can pause it if you want to read, and then again, you can solve it at your leisure. Third question. In a lake, there is a patch of lily pads. Every day, the patch doubles in size. If it takes 48 days for the patch to cover the entire lake, how long would it take for the patch to cover half of the lake? Okay, those are the 3 questions. You can work on them, pause, and then return to us because we will reveal the answers right now. Is it right to reveal the answers right now?
Yeah,
Just put it in the description. It would be...
Oh yeah. It'll be upside down at the bottom of the description.
Okay, it will. The answers will be on the
Description.
description section. So you can pause, check your answers, or just not. Anyway, this is valuable stuff. If you want to know whether you're an atheist or a
If
theist,
you happen to forget.
The research,
take the test.
yeah.
Okay, welcome back. So, do you believe in God or not? I mean, it's not a simple yes or no. You have to take the three questions.
3-question test.
But anyway,
It's a
okay.
percentage answer.
Okay, so the test. What was it about? What was the test about?
It was from a study, if I'm not mistaken.
Of Ricky Gervais? No,
No.
some other Gervais.
Yeah, of a
researcher.
few authors
And,
here.
yeah,
And they basically found that something they found in common between, the big difference between atheists and believers are how they answer these 3 questions and whether or not a person is being intuitive versus analytical. And they found that the intuitive answers to these questions, like off the top of your head, for example, are less likely to be right. So if you
To
if
these
you just,
particular
to these
questions.
particular
Yeah.
questions,
Okay.
because they're kind of tricky, and the people who get it right are more likely those who have thought about it more and analyzed the question, and they found that atheists are more likely to think analytically than intuitively
And get the
answers right.
and
in the
get the
process.
answers right. So does this mean then that atheists are smarter? That's what everyone's thinking by
The
now.
researchers have made a disclaimer that they do not favor any particular way of thinking, specifically analytical over intuitive. They're just saying that regarding these 2 types of thinking, atheists are more commonly analytical than believers are.
Okay, yeah, they were very careful on the article that we've linked to already several times to clarify that they weren't claiming in any way or form that non-believers were
Wrong.
Whether or not non-believers
Were-
are smarter.
we're less smart, or they use some really insulting words, that like dumb, like utterly stupid.
What are you talking about?
No, they actually did. Open up your MacBook Retina. Look. There are many other reasons people might decide not to believe in God, of course, and it would be a mistake to construe religious believers as unreflective, shallow-thinking fools, right?
Yeah, don't do that, guys.
But
But they're using unnecessarily strong language.
and there's no section saying that it would be wrong to think that atheists are like geniuses, like of the.
This Gervais guy
So it's
must be related to Ricky Gervais.
So it's kind of unfair in that sense, you know. Like of course, we will make the point that this particular article did not make, that atheists, non-believers, agnostics, or they don't necessarily outsmart believers.
Yeah.
I mean, we know a lot of atheists, and a lot of them are pretty shallow,
Unreflective, shallow thinking fools.
Thinking fools.
There are a lot of, So no matter what denomination you belong to, there will be a spectrum of different kinds of people in that denomination, and there are bound to be intelligent ones and pretty stupid ones.
Okay, so
Stupid in any way.
what can we gather? What can we understand from this article? Okay, we learn that there are two ways that people usually think. The article mentions a book that I've read. I recommend it. It's very good. The Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel. Was it Daniel Kahneman?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Daniel Kahneman. Here's a link. Amazon. Do we have an affiliate link already? We should do that, right? Buy the book and just donate what we would have gotten affiliately. Anyway, it's a good book, and it talks about two ways of thinking: System 1 and System 2 thinking, and it's the intuitive versus the more analytical kind of thinking. So the first kind of thinking is fast and intuitive, and it usually works, and it's why we use it most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not practical to have to bring out notebooks to solve every single
thing.
problem. Sometimes, I mean, most of the time, the intuitive way of solving stuff already works. But humans are actually equipped with a higher form of thinking, the System 2 thinking, which is more critical, more slow. This is the slow in the title of the book. And it kind of overrides the intuitive way of thinking. And for a few of the problems that we encounter, it's necessary to use the slower, more analytical method of thinking, because otherwise you'd just be wrong.
Yeah. So while the author does not choose between intuitive and analytical, which is better, I think, you mentioned, I'm not sure if you did, analytical is a higher form of thinking. Intuitive thinking is not going to land you on a comment. There are a lot of analytical computations you're going to have to make, right? And the authors suggest that the reason religious people are more likely to be intuitive thinkers is because applying analytical thinking to more things will more likely wean you off of religion. You're not gonna, if you apply analytical thinking to your beliefs, for example, which is what a lot of people who've become atheists have done, then it's not gonna hold up.
I think analytical thinking, there's a way of getting it into the realm of intuitive thinking. Meaning, with enough practice, you can be intuitively analytical, so to speak. Now, your automatic mode of thinking is analytical, and you get faster and faster with the analytical method of solving problems because you use it often.
But can you still call it analytical and not intuitive if you've already gotten used to it?
I think so. I think a very shallow form of analytical thinking is a very instinctive form of analytical thinking is skepticism. Like just asking yourself, wait, is this even true? And that's a very basic form of analysis to something, and it's still instinctive, it's still intuitive, that when you see something, just doubt it. And that's already a very, very basic and important form of analytical thinking.
Okay, by the way, before I forget, if you like the problems that you just solved, those are counterintuitive problems. And that's already a clue, actually. If it seems so easy, it must be counterintuitive in a way, and therefore there must be something else to it. There must be a catch. But anyway, if you like problems like that, there's a Wikipedia page for counterintuitive
interesting
knowledge.
Then you can be more sure that you're an atheist.
I mean, I remember stuff there like y is like 0.99999
equal to 1.
Some stuff like that. But my favorite by far is the Monty Hall problem.
I love that.
It's a challenge trying to explain that to people. Anyway, I want to go back to what you said. The difference between a believer and a non-believer is oftentimes not really whether one is smarter or not. It's whether one applies analytic critical thinking to more domains than the other, right? Because like an atheist or a non-believer could have applied just the analytical way of thinking just to the atheism.
Yes,
and then to
yes.
everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Not.
It could be like Raelians.
Oh,
Who
there
don't
you go.
believe in a god, but they believe in
There you go.
other things that have no evidence, like
Yeah.
alien.
Yeah.
Okay, that's let's might as well dispel that misconception that atheists are all naturalists
Yeah, right.
or rationalists. you
And
know?
and I'm sure like there are a lot of very good scientists out there who practice analytical thinking very thoroughly in their work, in their
Yes.
professional work. But with regards to, for example, personal philosophy, they don't apply it that much.
Yeah, like people like Collins, was it Francis Collins? Yeah, he still believes in a creator. And you hear about all of these creationist scientists. Like a huge percentage of scientists in the U.S. are actually believers in God. Like it's I mean, there are still more non-believers, but it's more or less near. It's only when you go to the most elite
Yeah.
scientists, the
That you see
National
the
Academy.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's significant, like 97% to 3%. But still, it does not mean that all atheists are necessarily smarter, or that believers are often unthinking fools. It just means that it's very difficult to. It's unintuitive.
Yeah.
To not be intuitive. I mean, our default mode of handling things is just the intuitive way.
Yeah.
And where
Take some effort.
yeah. And I wonder if this also if this also means there would be more prejudices when you're a believer. But only in the sense that when you're a believer, you tend to be more intuitive in how you think about things, and not more analytical. So prejudice, is often intuitive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a man should only be with a woman because the
parts fit.
parts,
Yeah, it
yeah. I mean, the parts fit better.
Yeah.
And that's just intuition. And there are arguments for this. Natural law arguments tend to rely on the intuitive nature of people. Like when you argue that a man should only have sex with a woman or should only marry a woman, you're appealing to the default intuitive reasoning of people.
Yeah, and I think a lot of emotions, especially those that get people riled up, like disgust or anger, those are based on intuitive reactions to things. And you don't often ask yourself, like, wait, why am I feeling this way? Why am I against equal marriage equality? Like, and you have to, and your reasoning will always stop at a certain point, like someone told you or it's written in the book, and then you don't ask yourself any further. So analytical thinking will help you
Override.
override, figure out what exactly your beliefs are, and where they might actually conflict with other beliefs you have.
Yeah, that's related to something I learned recently from the
Paul Bloom.
Yeah, from Paul
Yeah,
Bloom.
we did talk about that, and look forward to the interview. Plug the Coursera as well.
Yeah, it is the course that I took on Coursera, Moralities in Everyday Life. It related to that was how it was disgust.
Yeah.
Disgust was discussed as one
good
of the
enunciation.
main sources of morality. Like there's reason, there's other stuff, and one of them is disgust. Like people make moralistic pronouncements through feelings of disgust sometimes, and it's often that when you try to ask them why they find something immoral, they just after the fact make up reasons that are not disgust. And I think it's important that we learn to overcome this, because disgust is like, it's a very biological response.
Basic, intuitive.
And like we should be willing to put that disgust in question. Like, why am I disgusted? Is it reasonable? It's not saying we're not saying it's wrong to be disgusted, because it's a feeling that you can't control.
Right.
But to say that it should drive something like morality, or a sense of wrongness,
or laws.
rightness. Or laws, yeah, exactly. We should be rethinking those and overriding them with more analytical.
Yeah, and
process.
I did some mental intuitive, so it might be wrong, reasoning or putting stuff together in my head. And I think, you could do experiments that would show that intuitive people tend to be more disgusted easily. Like, did you come across that study on disgust?
There was a study, yeah, but it's not linked to intuition.
It's not.
It was,
I'm just hypothesizing here.
We could maybe.
Yeah,
It was linked to conservatism, I think.
Yeah, conservative people tend
more
to
easily-
be more
more
easily
disgusted.
disgusted, and they take that feeling and reason after the fact, as you have said.
I want to add though that a lot of this focus was about like who gets the answers right, and a lot of people will connect that to who's smarter, and like, we have the right answers and you have the wrong answers, you have the wrong religion. But I think the important part here is that we've already established that a lot of religious people are smart, a lot of non-religious people are stupid, and that none of that might matter as long as we just be good people, and as long as you're not driving your policies based on your intuitive thoughts, right, or feelings of disgust. As long as whether or not you get the answers right, if you're being good people, that's totally fine.
Although, I think getting the answers right
Will make you better people.
is valuable, because the definition of good is not as objective
Right.
as getting the answers right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a lot of the times, we would have to resort to science, because if otherwise, what do we have? It's just philosophical arguments that could you could argue both sides. So getting the answers right is also important. Like I saw just a while ago a post on the updates and announcements group. I'm not sure if it was actually posted there, but I saw a poster that argued different dogs. Okay, and it says evolution happens, right? Because there are different dogs, and that's artificial selection. The breeding, right? And then it's different from sludge turning into a human being, right? Like it says, that's equivocation. When you use a word in one sense to mean the same thing in another sense. So they're trying, creationists are trying to falsify evolution using logical fallacy, critical thinking. Like they're calling that
Saying
equivocation.
evolution implies a biogenesis.
Yeah, so
like that.
so more and more, even creationists are recognizing the value of using logic, reason, and science to argue their point. But if you
They're
don't
using it
do it
wrong.
right, and that brings us to the test. I believe that creationists, not creationists, but people who have strong feelings about certain of these problems, they would argue it, even if they're wrong, even if they're demonstrably wrong. And I've seen this most clearly in, again, the Monty Hall problem. Just seriously, take the Monty Hall, try to solve the Monty Hall problem, try to get someone else to understand it, and it's really interesting. Like, you'll see the smartest people. I mean, I argued for the wrong answers for a very long time before I got it. And
You're using yourself as an example for the smartest people.
no.
For a
No,
stupid atheist.
I was very stupid. I didn't get it at once, and now it's kind of my pastime to try to explain it as fast as I can. But anyway, again, facts will be important because the definition of good changes and can't be proven. So stuff like this, or system 1, system 2 thinking, will be very important. And let us know, we know someone who thought he was an atheist, and then he took the test and he wasn't an atheist. He didn't get the answers right. So or you may be you may believe in God, and then you get all of the answers right, and then
Congratulations, welcome to the club.
No. But anyway, we will discuss this and other stuff at the meetup that's happening this weekend, Saturday, 2:30 to 5:30. We're having it
UP Diliman.
not really, we're not sure yet, but it will coincide with this event. It's a family day for LGBT allies. So we will discuss some stuff, but mostly we will be participating in the event. So it's kind of a field trip. It will be fun, and we can compare notes and maybe talk about the Monty Hall problem and other stuff. So until next time, bye.